Fellas, just like that, another Sunday just, came out of nowhere. And here we are, another episode of Who's Fighting. Very slowly but surely getting to that big 5-0.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
Oh yeah, we were close.
we want to make this one a little special. We want to make this one kind of like a callback episode, kind of like let's see what's happening with somebody that can we say friend to the show at this point? Friend to the show?
Friend of the show.
Yeah, it's official. Kam Gee, how have you been? How's your weekend been and everything?
Oh man, weekend's been good, bro. Just spending time with my son. We got a little sunlight. I feel the season changing. The air temperature is creeping up a little bit. Man, so it's all good, man. It's amazing.
That's beautiful. My man LT, how you been, man?
Yes, sir. Can't complain, man. Doing a little South by partying.
Hey.
Shout out to Flo. Shout out to Gorilla Zoe, TJ's DJ, everybody from Miami, Florida that came through. Trap Beckham, his artist Candy. Shout out to everybody from the crib, Wichita, Kansas that came through. Heavy, Dizzy, MM40, Town Business, Walt Brown. Shout out to everybody. Too many to name.
Man, roll call.
Too many to name.
South by Southwest, man.
Yeah.
Where dreams are made. That's where you meet your first stars before they become stars. So it's a legendary ensemble. But let's get straight to it. Kam Gee, man, lead the way on this one.
Oh man, we got a very special guest in the building. My man Sam S3 Arnold, going to be fighting here in Dallas, Texas at the Bomb Factory on April 12th. So we're just glad to have him, man. Welcome to the show again.
What's up, man? I appreciate y'all for having me, not once but twice.
Yeah.
Hey.
So nice you had to do it twice.
Hey.
And you got some silverware this time around, right? You got some silverware. I've been noticing like silverware, kind of similar.
Yeah, I just had to grab that strap last December.
That green one, that green joint, right? You got that green joint, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you have it with you right now, man? You can.
I think it's put up somewhere. Well, actually, no. A guy who be doing PR for me, he's taking it for the sponsors and stuff, so they can get pictures with it.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. That thing got a little weight to it, man. It's something where you like, okay, you only imagine what these other ones feel like. So
right,
you gotta hold that thing tight. It's on your shoulder, man. That's a good feeling.
Yeah.
So I guess let's talk about. I can't even remember the last we had before after the fight, but how did it feel to, going back to your last fight, fighting in Canada? Just tell us a little bit about that.
It was cool. To be honest, I've been going to Canada for, I say, since about 2023. Before I even signed to Three Lions, they was bringing me out there for sparring and just showing love, like on some family time. To be honest, I was used to being in Toronto and stuff, but going to like Nova Scotia, Halifax, Sydney area, it was kind of different. It was like near like the North Atlantic Ocean during the winter. So you can imagine it's right by the ocean, but it's on the side of a mountain to where it's snow and blizzard, things like that. Where I landed was 4 hours from where I had to fight. So we had to drive through a blizzard to get there on on the side of a mountain that was on the side of the ocean for 3 hours, no phone signal, 4 hours, no phone signal, everything. But, go through all of that, fight in front of 5,000 people and make a statement performance with a highlight reel knockout like that. What more could you ask for?
Nice. Nice.
That was a beautiful knockout, by the way.
I want to ask, does fighting out of town, does it make you lock in a little more? Because your next fight is here at home in Dallas, but, when you fight out of town, does it, I know some guys are like that, just that you're away from where you're comfortable. You have to lock in a little differently.
Yeah, definitely. To be honest, I really would prefer fighting out of town. Of course, I like, it's like sometimes to me, I feel like it's a bad thing for a boxer to be too comfortable to have everything on your side, because then it's like you might not even take it as serious or get up for it as much as you would if like, all right, I got to go all the way here and be ready, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, then again, you can have everything to your advantage, and it can make you just be that more better. So to me, it's pros and cons on both sides, but I'm happy that I am getting the fight in Dallas though.
Dope.
So like, is this your first fight in your professional career at home, or you've had plenty of fights in, at home?
I fought at the Bomb Factory twice already. I packed it out twice already.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I turned pro pretty young. So yeah, this is my third time fighting there, and I fought in St. Louis. That's originally where I'm from. So no, either one I fight at, I can bring the crowd.
That's dope.
This is is it your first headliner event?
Yeah, it's my first headliner.
How you feel about that?
That's a blessing. I mean, I fought my way to get here my whole life, so it's a blessing. I'm gonna make sure that I look like a headliner and not, just another fighter on the card.
Yes. I noticed you said that you've been fighting since you were young, but realistically, S3, you're still young, like there's so much in this game that is there for you to go grab, and you're such a exciting prospect that it's amazing to see what record that you're 11 now, 11 victories,
No.
11-0, and you're not even 23 yet. You're like, you're 21. You turned 21,
Yes,
I believe. Yeah. So like, with all that being said, how does it feel being in this spot? Being I think you have the WBC for the under 23s, right?
Yeah, the youth continental.
The youth continental. How does it feel being in that position, this young, and how does it feel looking at the world, being your oyster, for lack of a better word?
It just makes me feel like I'm just doing the right things and I'm taking the right steps to get closer. But honestly, in boxing, it's never enough, no matter what. So I'm just gonna continue to do what I do, because it's always like you got to go out there and prove yourself. Even once you're at the top, it's gonna be a new guy there saying this thing or this thing, So my main thing is just to continue to show everybody I'm not just a prospect. Like you said, I'm a contender, and continue to win and just, put on the good performances for the fans.
Dope.
We talked a little bit about the venues. So you in Funky Town this time, correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
Tell us about that.
It's Dallas. Funky Town is Fort Worth.
Where's the?
No, I thought you said D-Town.
Where's the event? Where's the event at this time?
It's in Deep Ellum. It's in close to downtown Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What's the capacity of that venue?
It just depend on the room. I don't think the capacity over this one probably not gonna be over 2,000 people, but it just depends though. It depends on what room, because they got different sizes, because they host smaller events. The room that I'm in is actually where Erykah Badu always have her birthday at every year.
Yeah.
Nice.
Known for, yeah. I had went there when I was like, at one time actually after I fought there, the next, I think it was a Sunday or like the weekend after I fought, she had her birthday there with my mom. She's a big fan, so yeah, I went there.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Yeah.
We talked about. Sorry, go ahead, Kam Gee.
Well, no, it's the Bomb Factory. It's a big concert event venue in the Deep Ellum area. So I've been to my favorite concert there was a Big Crit. I actually saw Sam fight there once, and it's a big deal in the city to be fighting in this venue, and as the headliner.
That's a major achievement. That's a milestone. I was going to talk about fighting environments. Like, I know from other sports, like you hear pro athletes saying that I love playing in big venues, like with 40,000, because I could lock in. But they talk about these tiny venues where there's hostile crowds, where you could see the guy in the corner. Like, it's very hard to, like, because it's very hostile. The smaller it is, the more intimate it is, the more fanatic it is, and it kind of gets you adrenaline going. And this is like soccer, basketball. Like, you hear basketball players saying, I get buckets in Madison Square Garden, but when I go to these smaller venues like the OKCs, which is not that small, it's kind of problematic because the fans are just so up close and personal with you. Is that the same thing as boxing in a smaller venue? Like,
Yeah, I definitely understand that 100%. Like doing TCL and different things like that, or just coming up fighting in Mexico. I done fought guys in Mexico that's from Mexico with their families, and it's just like me and a few other people from America. So I definitely could agree. But to me, if you're a high level athlete, you're gonna shine anywhere. My dad always told me, if you're a superstar, you're a superstar all the time. So it's like, you shouldn't be worried about that. You should be worried about what's in front of you. If you got a game or if you got a fight, go and handle your business. That's your job and what people paying to see you do.
That's what's up. Hey, speaking of that, what can you tell us or what do you know about your opponent that you're going to be stepping into the ring with?
So, like I said, the opponent that I originally was scheduled to fight since January all of a sudden pulled out a few days ago. They gave me a new guy who's supposedly, to me, he is a tougher opponent. But the only reason why I didn't want to touch on the opponent because, a lot of these guys be pulling out the fight last minute, and I don't want to, jinx it or anything like that.
Touche.
Yeah, still pending.
Yes, sir.
But currently in fight camp, fighting hard. We actually did have a question for you on the live feed. Nadia Perry asking, what is the hardest part of fight camp? The parts that people don't see.
I say cutting weight, and just the little everyday things like just getting up, doing the same thing over and over and over again. But then again, people go to work and stuff. So I mean, if it's your career, you shouldn't complain about it. But just the physical wear and tear it take on your body to get up and do it, and you got to do it and keep doing it. Sometimes that could be a little draining, but for the most part, I'll say cutting weight. Cutting weight is definitely the hardest part.
And like, how do you manage your energy levels like throughout a fight camp? Because I know it's you got tougher days and tough days. It's all hard, but
really, I'll say it's really what you put in your body 100%. Of course, everything you could say God or you could say your mental and things like that. But physically, I'll just say really like just being consistent, not trying to go too hard every day. Some days are just days that you work to stay ahead and just putting the right things in your body for real. Getting the proper rest and, recovery.
For sure.
I want to revise something. I want to go back a little history. Like, let's talk about your last fight, right?
Okay.
You talked about landing in Canada and driving 4 hours to the venue or to the location where your hotel is, wherever the event is going to happen. Now, walk through that preparation of, because you're an athlete, everything is about, being warm, being, keeping everything ready for, war.
Right.
Flying, first of all, to Canada, driving 4 hours, you're sitting for 4 hours. I don't know if you're stretching. I don't know how that is. Some people also worry about when they travel to these. Luckily, you are fighting a fellow Texas person, Julian, I think, Delgado, I think. He's from, I don't know, Austin, I believe, or San Francisco. Okay, Corpus, yeah. Luckily, you are fighting another person, but usually people who go to fight, like in Russia, don't eat even the food there because they worried about being poisoned and stuff like that, right? That psyche, right? So you get to the hotel, and we'll talk about how you knocked out the young man, which was beautiful. You saw I shared that video because I was watching it on pay-per-view, like how you set it up, and you ended it in the second round. But just walk through that process of going to a different country. You said it was a blizzard, driving and still having that war mentality, not like other thoughts coming in, like why did I sign up for this? That all those different thoughts that could come up. Like I could have fought somebody in Pensacola, so I could have fought somebody in LA somewhere to get my. You took that road. So let's walk through that, a little revision.
All right, so a little revision. So actually, I had to fly to Toronto to go from Toronto to I think we didn't even go straight to. So we went from Toronto to a place called Halifax. So Halifax is the inland part of Nova Scotia. So they got the inlanders, what they call it, and the outlanders. So we thinking, oh, we're gonna be cool. It's probably like a little 30-minute drive or something. We get to our hotel, land. We see, all right, well, your weigh-ins on Friday. We just got here it's Wednesday, so yeah, I don't got that much time. And the sun goes down at 4 there. So it's a 4-hour drive. Of course, we're tired because we just landed Wednesday night. So, I mean, we just pretty much spent the day fighting through the snow. I was, of course, it was Thursday. I was already on weight, so it wasn't like I was eating or nothing while we was driving. I was just looking out the window and trying to go to sleep. And y'all know how it is. Like, just imagine cutting weight, but then imagine like how hungry you are if you don't eat before you go to sleep. Now imagine cutting weight and trying to sleep through it on top of all of that. It was pretty challenging, but the thing I can honestly say, none of that stuff bothered me because I've been through way worse in boxing, and I've been doing it since I was a kid. So it's like all of that stuff is regular to me. You know, they gave us a car to drive. They gave us everything we did, per diems and everything we needed. So then I'm getting paid to fight in front of 5,000 people. I mean, I'm gonna go through all of that. I'm gonna just do it. Really, the main thing that just gives me the mental strength is just like outside the ring stuff. And then because I've been doing the same stuff since I was a little kid, it's not like I just started having to ride in the car, being on weight. I done rode 10 hours in the car before weigh-ins and stuff like that. Have to weigh in the next day and holding ice in my mouth at 10, 12, 13 years old. So, you know, I was built for this. So yeah, it was just like all the moments before growing up really preparing me for this, you know.
So S3, you're a young man. Let's fast forward. The fight happens, the magic happens in round 2. You're 21 years old. By that time, I think you're still 20, right? Back then.
21. I was 20. I turned 21 in April last year.
So you were 21 years.
Yes,
what
sir.
is celebration in Nova Scotia like after a win?
Oh man,
you're a young man. Like, what was it? Just straight to the hotel and just get a pizza? I don't know. What's that?
Honestly, that's crazy that you said pizza because we went to a local pizza shop. The whole town just stormed the place, getting pictures from me. Because you know the town we were in, it's like the rest of Canada look at them like a little country town, but they're actually super nice. Like some of the nice people, man. It was so many people telling me nice stuff, and it was just like they treated me like a real celebrity. They respect boxing so much over there. I know a lot of people here. People say, "Oh, people overseas respect boxers more than they do." But I promise you, it's true. Like they were so happy to just get a picture or hold the belt. They were crying, saying, "I never thought I would meet someone like this," and different things like that. So, yeah, man, I got a lot of love. We went to a little pizza shop, then we went back. Chilled at the hotel, and then we came back to Dallas.
That's dope.
I want to ask about you connecting with a Canadian promotion company, 3 Lions Promotions, and how that's benefited your career and like how that relationship was established.
Yeah, definitely. How it benefited my career because they give me structure amongst us already doing our own thing. It exposed me to a whole nother country, another fan base, and then it's an untapped market. When do you hear about American boxers going to Canada and it's right north of us? Everybody want to go to Colombia, Argentina, Mexico, or even probably the UK, but it's an untapped market with a lot of actual good boxers, a lot of good sparring, and how the relationship, they just been watching me on social media for a while, and then we end up, you know, still start going out there sparring some of their guys. They seen how good I was in person. They ended up signing me last year. From there, you know, we just been locked in ever since.
Dope stuff. My man, is he there? Did he freeze? I'm not confused.
I don't know.
Is he in the Matrix?
All right, am I good now?
We can hear you.
Okay, yeah, we good.
You good.
Am I lagging still?
Yeah, just a little bit. I think we can push through it.
Yeah, we all right.
So let's get more of a colorful question here. Tell us what your birthday is again.
April 29th.
April 29th. So are you an astrology guy or nah?
I wouldn't necessarily say, but you know, I'll be around a lot of people that are. My mom is into astrology and horoscopes and different stuff like that.
Well, obviously, you said she's a big Erykah Badu fan, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
How deep do you get into that?
Yeah. Can y'all hear me? I'm sorry, I'm lagging a little bit. Okay, 1 second. All right, am I? All right, one.
Should we'll wait on the man if he get it.
What would that make him? That make him a Taurus.
Let's backstage it a little. Let's go back here.
Wait, what LT in the ether?
No.
I'm here.
Okay.
Well, S3 is fixing a few things.
Okay. Yeah.
But you know that's dope that we asking these questions because like we never talk about the post fight and the adrenaline, and then you're in a new place. You're like, man, can I even go out? You have a blizzard happening. You're like,
I mean, I feel like some guys just want to just rest and pig out, eat burgers and pizza you've been suffering through camp and doing all these things and get to the fight. And a lot of these guys aren't like big party guys. A lot of these fighters, they're not big drinkers and smokers. You do have those guys that are, but a lot of our serious combat guys, they just they got the lunch pail and and they just go about their business that way.
I think we've kind of been like desensitized with post fights because we think of boxing as this sport of going out and showing out, like whether it's dressing, you wear the suits. We're in Vegas after the fight. There's this big party for you have your family in a sprinter. That whole thing that came from the 80s and 70s, like where unfortunately the drug dealers like ran stuff in Madison Square. Like you'd see that's that's the thing of boxing that I always thought like it's the fight, get ready, go through your camp, and then post fight, relax. Now go have some fun. If you won, if you've not won, then go somewhere.
And sulk.
And lick wounds. Go somewhere and lick your wounds.
Right, because if you just fought a hard fight, I think partying is like the last thing you want to do. You want to just chill.
Yeah.
But do we see
like I said.
Did we see Canelo after he lost to Bivol? We see him out drinking, right?
Right.
Was that the one exception?
He was drinking his problems away.
Yeah.
I don't think Canelo portrays himself as a big party drinker guy, but he got handed a decisive L. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just toss these back real quick.
That some fighters that really after the fight, I heard that this is a rumor that Floyd won a fight, went to party, and after partying, he doesn't partake in any of that stuff. He jogged back. He had his dude driving a car and he was jogging post fight. I don't know if this is true because that sounds crazy. The amount of lactic, you probably could injure yourself doing that. But you've heard those stories of Floyd post fights not like running extra after winning. And I'm like,
so strap. But here's the science behind that. Like when you build up that lactic, the only way to flush it is to jog. Like you can put your legs up on the wall, but you do some back in the they called it LSD, long slow distance. But that's how you flush your legs.
Keep that steady pace.
Because you guys,
your heart rate.
You guys coach sports, right? Like I thought it was like you have to rest. Like you can't after going through war. You can't just take your body.
Sleeping is key, but then you have those recovery methods like the foam rolling, the stretching. Right. LT mentioned the jogging, the steady pace. You got whirlpools, cryo. There's a lot of preferred methods for different guys, and they're all somewhat backed by science. So
Yeah.
a lot of these guys now that are competing are hip to all of them. So they're doing, if not all of them, at least one of them.
And then he might have so much left in the tank, like he might not be able to go to sleep if he don't do that, you know?
Facts.
Yeah.
Adrenaline. You've been around 60 something people screaming your name. Like, how do you go to sleep after that? Like, you have to let that get out of your body. Remember like those old stories that I think I watched that documentary, the Team USA that went to Beijing and Canelo, was it? No, I'm saying Canelo. Carmelo and LeBron were partying or something before they because the Team USA trains in Vegas, and they saw Kobe Bryant at 3 a.m. just getting up, going to work out.
Yeah, they were in that. They were coming in on the elevator, and Kobe was coming down on the elevator.
I think Canelo was like, "Nah, LeBron, I'm not going to sleep. I'm going straight with Kobe." After partying, it's like, "Nah, if this guy's doing that, like." I want to do that. I'm like, man, after I'm partying, man, I'm going to sleep, bro. I don't care about all that. Like, these dudes went directly back to the gym.
Strap. We have if you think back when I had the gym in my basement, we have a similar story.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Competition.
So, but you know, that story was interesting, man. Like, because we played 2K, we were sipping some stuff, some alcohol. And we started bench pressing. Like now, we in the late hours, like, but again, put it into context. We were like 20, 24, 25, 23, and we just trying to chase personal best. Like we were trying to chase like PBs, add the plates, and it was an incline bench press too. That was crazy.
Quick show update. We looks like we are delayed with Mr. Sam Arnold. He's having a phone charging issue, so we have to see if we can double back and hop in and just let me know.
Bet him up.
But in the interim, can we just yap about what happened prior to the weekend? Like we saw one time coming back.
Let's get it.
Let's get into it.
Hey.
I know LT's happy because this is your guy. This is your guy.
Yeah, man. Come on, y'all.
Man. Come on.
One time.
I don't know why people. So this is actually real convenient, and shout out to them for they actually showed it on YouTube. It was a delay, and by the time they actually had the actual broadcast, like it was all over the internet. So, but yeah, shout out to One Time for coming back. Shout out to Jarvis for being game, right? Showing some resistance, but Keith Thurman looked good.
There's levels.
He looked good. He looked good.
He still has the snap on the punt. He still has he's dangerous.
It's hard to evaluate guys when obviously Brock Jarvis 22 wins. I mean, professional boxing, you don't just you got to go out there and beat somebody. Regardless of their background. That's a total of 24 times you stepped in the ring, 22 victories. Keith Thurman off a long playoffs did show a lot of snap on his punches, and I thought he showed a great punch selection to get the knockout. That was impressive handling business there. So now, like I say, hey, let's see it again. Let's see you get back out there. Let's not see a long layoff again and get back. Keith Thurman is one of my favorite corny boxers. He just has but he goes out and he is a fighter, and
it's the lisp.
Yeah, man. He always has some quotables. He always is a microphone, and
it's not cringe.
No, it's in a different way, and
it's palatable.
Yeah.
There you go. Digestible. I know what I'm looking at when I'm dealing with a Keith Thurman, and we talked about the last episode. His only loss was to a Manny Pacquiao.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to give respect.
In a competitive bout too, was very competitive because he kind of had Pacquiao kind of knocked him down, but he came back and looked like he wanted to take Pacquiao out. Pacquiao was kind of like boxing him. But
so this is a respectable tune-up, right? You got a guy who's got a great record, similar style, You're able to get him out the way. Same camp. So now you can upgrade for the next one, a bigger name with Tim Tszyu. Get through Tim Tszyu, and now you're back in the conversation with the 154s.
Do you think if, regardless of the decision of what happens if it happens with Tim Tszyu, do you think there's still that need for Earl Spence and Keith Thurman out there? Do we still?
It makes sense now.
Personally, I would love to see that fight. Yeah. I would love to see that fight. It's the build up. I think would be very contentious.
Unfinished business.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like it.
LT got to say it for it to go down. So let's see.
You're speaking to the ether.
He's
had a couple, but I think he's got a.
He's on a roll.
So check it out. I mean, we talking about the PBC farewell. They trying to hang on. This is how they squeeze the juice out the lemon right here.
Yeah.
That's a good fight to see right there. I mean, we'll see. We got to get Earl back in the ring, man. I don't even know if he has a coach.
I don't know if Earl Spence wants to.
Yeah, I know, man.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And that's okay. We just would love for him to want to get in the ring. We would love to see that. You know, no one he lost to one of the best fighters of this era, and coming back from multiple things, injuries, car accidents,
life and death.
We just want to see a good performance, win or loss. You know, we thought we was going to see a competitive fight in that Bud fight, but a fight against Keith Thurman, maybe he gets up for that from all the gatekeeping of the belts back in the day.
And also, it depends on how, Keith kind of showed that he was sharp. I want to see Earl Spence have a fight before Keith, just to see where he's at, just before throwing him into that fight. Because I think that build up, if he does good after that fight, then they will make a great spectacle for him fighting Keith. But I just want to see where his state, what mental state, I mean, boxing wise, where he's at. Because we've not seen him fight for almost 2 years now. When last time he fought in 2023? That was 2023 when he lost to my guy. But
sounds about right.
Yeah,
I want to see where he's at. I want to see where he's at. It'll be unfortunate for him to just jump into a Keith Thurman who has had a couple of tune-ups and he's out there camping in Australia, working out with animals and low-key building. Like he looked like he has been working out. Keith has been active. Like he didn't look like a guy who had taken 3 years off or whatever that's suggested. Like,
well, I mean, some of these, when you come off of some of these surgeries, the muscle comes back and it's better than it was before. So I don't know if that's the case with the bicep there, but it looked like it snapped back.
What was it? What was the injury?
He said he torn a bicep going into the right just before he was supposed to fight.
Was he supposed to fight the guy?
Yeah,
and that's one of those injuries where that's one of those injuries. Consulting with a doctor out here in Dallas that doesn't really get back to 100%.
Gotcha.
As far as the bicep tendon tear, I was dealing with that with a guy I was working with, and so the fact that he did show a lot of snap on his punches shows that he's been, good surgery, good recovery, and he's next to his best version. So,
shout out to him.
Yeah, let's go into the featherweight division. There was a title deciding fight here for the WBA featherweight. A lot of you guys know who TJ Duhaney is. I mean, he's great fight with Inoue. TJ Duhaney, legend. I would say, would you call him legend? Or journeyman? I don't know. He's been around for a long time. He's former champ. What am I exaggerating? Am I putting too much sauce on TJ Duhaney?
He's the legend.
He's a former champ over there, across the pond. He's fighting a young sensation, Nick Ball, and Nick Ball is amazing. He lost. To Nick Ball. Have you guys been seeing activity on Twitter? Inoue and Nick Ball having conversation. Nick Ball is it's been popping. But hey, take it.
There's a controversial point in this matchup where Doheny has Ball in a headlock, and so at the end of the round, and so upon him finally releasing, Ball gives him a swift kick in the yeah. So that was a little quirky, but definitely seen the activity on social media. They're talking about a potential meeting at 126. So
yeah. But did you see how Inoue was just swinging his nuts around like he's the big dog? I was like, yo, I didn't know Inoue had it in him. Like, you know, hey,
but you gotta watch how he fight. I mean, watch how he fight. He's been put down. He's faced champions.
Yeah,
got him out of there. I mean, he should have all the confidence. I don't think that's something. I think because we don't get a chance to form that fan relationship with them here in America. That hopefully we'll be able to see that. Like, yeah, you know, these guys are highly confident fighters. And
I don't know.
He's not any different from any American champion as far as the confidence goes there. We just haven't seen it.
But you know, like Japanese people are kind of like respectful. But that tweet I read, like he said something to the fact of, and I'm just paraphrasing, like build your reputation and we'll have a great fight. Or something. He was speaking that big ball.
He got a little dog. He got a little dog in him, man.
Like dog. Japanese are always like even respectful, like, you know, just very. Even though they're confident, they're respectful. But Inoue was like not playing, and he was talking to dude like, yo, you the guy over there, but I'm the guy. I'm the guy here. Yeah. I'm the guy.
Continue to take care of business, and
that's what he said.
We both can take, if we both take care of business, we'll meet in the middle.
Yeah, and he said that, and he signed off, and I'm like, yo, I like that. I didn't expect it for him. I didn't expect Inoue to even tweet, engage in that type of stuff. He said you have two fists. What? I couldn't translate.
He said 2 fists are enough for me because Nick Ball tweeted, when you're ready to kick it at 126, let me know. And Inoue responded back, 2 fists are enough for me.
I didn't get that.
Pound emoji. I'm like, yeah, I like that.
I didn't get that one, but I'm like, okay. Witty. Oh, he's out here just, you know, letting people know I'm the big bollocks out here. I'm the guy. I am the guy. That was cool. You beat TJ. I fought TJ. I starched TJ. But hey, to be the man, you got run through me because I'm really taking this division and running with it. So hey, that was pretty cool. I thought it was that made me laugh.
It's good. Getting a little mainstream exposure.
We love big fights leading to other big fights.
Yeah. Should we cover another recap? A quick recap. Did you guys watch this one?
No, I don't know anything about this.
So Austin Ammo Williams versus Patrice Vanoli. How am I saying that?
Volney.
Volney.
Yeah, to me said it was Volney.
Volney. Did you guys watch it?
Yeah.
It was on Matchroom. And that's
Eddie Hearn.
Eddie Hearn, the Zone. I caught some highlights of it. Great fight, long fight, unanimous decision though, and Austin Ammo Williams took that win. Can't write too much about this one because, be honest, I don't know who Patrice is and I don't know who Austin Ammo is. But
Ammo fought Hamza Shiraz, so we saw Leia Dud on the big Riyadh card, and honestly. This fight really could have been a draw. I just really feel like this was a situation where he was going to get the decision. If he went to decision, he was going to get it. It was on his card, his promoter. Patrice Volney was one of those Winky Wright clones who fought out of the extreme tight high guard. So I saw a lot of good work. From him, and there were some rounds that were given to Ammo that I'm like, I don't know about that. So I mean, Volney might be one of those guys that if he just hangs around long enough, he'll get a decent shot. But
is he like a Haitian fighter or something like that from Canada or something?
I can't remember where this fight was in Orlando. I think Ammo might be from that Florida area. if not both fighters.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
I
quick.
think it was a good technical fight to watch if you love boxing. But it was, I think the scorecards could have been a little. I saw 118, 110, which close fights. We know boxing loves to throw one of those in there.
Yeah, quickly. I was watching the undercards for the Doheny, and it was a 4-round fight, and there was only one judge. Is that a common thing where they only have one judge score these 4-round
What
or any fight?
No, where was this at?
This was on the undercards across the pond on the zone undercards.
See, that's what I'm wondering if that's because of their commission. If it's boxing, I don't know. They may have a thing for 4-round fights.
So yeah, so the announcers were like, "We're waiting for the decision from judge." I'm like, just not the judges, just the judge. And the crazy thing about it was the one judge decided that it was a draw.
Oh wow.
A 4-rounder.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
nobody could tie break.
We gotta. I don't know, y'all. I think we gotta get rid of draws in boxing.
Oh man.
Yeah, it just
Do push up or something. Let's see. Do thumb wrestle. I break this.
Sudden death rounds. You know.
Let's go. Let's go.
I think that's the thing in like the tournament style.
Yeah, but that's
or at least
thing we have to correct because
or just do
many draws happened recently.
Or just do like a slap fest, like Dana White. Whoever gets knocked out from the slap is the loser. Like penalties. Like, yo, we've fought 15 rounds. We fought 12 rounds. We cannot take each other out. So let's take it off. Slap each other. And whoever... You know, in high school, you were playing that body game where you have to get the body. Nah. Just humor.
For sure.
But
let's keep it pushing.
Let's talk about comeback time. Comeback season. Brooklyn, Puerto Rico. What they say?
Boricua, Morena.
Yeah. Edgar Belenga is back in the ring. And he did show up and showed out against Jonathan Gonzalez Ortiz, a fellow countryman, as you may say. Although Edgar is American, but he's Puerto Rican. He claims he is Puerto Rican. Did you guys see this knockout in the first round? And what do you think? Was it something that was surprising?
Coming from Berlanga, not surprising, because he kind of has a reputation. He came up on Top Rank. You know, I followed him closely because I was a big pun fan, and his ties with Fat Joe. So not surprising that this was the outcome. Yeah, but they were he's trying to. What's the word I'm looking for? He's trying to keep that same energy with the Puerto Rico versus Mexican. He probably goes after Jaime Munguia's next. Like he called out Caleb Plant, but I think Jaime Munguia is a better way of getting that Mexican versus trying to recreate that magic again and again. But I don't know. Even more interesting to me is like all the facts surrounding this. Like he missed weight.
Yes.
His
opponent hadn't fought in I don't know how long. Like Eddie Hearn just gave him somebody. Eddie Hearn made comments saying that he did not understand the business. That's why he didn't re-sign with him. I guess he was offered a contract and he chose not to re-sign with Matchroom. I don't understand that, but he said he was with Top Rank. He's with Matchroom, so now he's a free agent. Coming off a TKO against an opponent who you clearly leaps and bounds better than. So he's an interesting guy in that division, 168, who he said he would come back to.
Okay. Yeah, so like again, the facts surrounding this. How did this is your comeback fight off of fighting Canelo Alvarez, and so you were walking around with your chest out like you just got off the Canelo chain, and everybody's saying that, oh, this is the Canelo effect, but this is the next fight. It's not. It is not adding up. So you know what I'm saying. So
he hasn't been active enough even after that Canelo fight, to be honest. Maybe this is a quote unquote, get your feet dirty a little bit, like to get back into the mix of things. But again, I didn't respect or understand. I didn't understand the Caleb Plant call out. I know there's beef there, but I just didn't understand. Even Eddie Hearns endorsing it was kind of weird. Like, oh,
why is that? Because that's a
like,
legitimate fight. I mean, if he's not ready at 23, 24 fights,
it doesn't make sense for Caleb Plant. It doesn't make sense for Caleb Plant. It doesn't make sense for Caleb Plant. It's not. If Caleb Plant won't make money off him, Caleb Plant needs to fight bigger fighters to make money. I'm just saying money wise. Caleb Plant versus Edgar, is that a big money fight? I mean, they're not going to.
Well, for one, Caleb Plant mentioned Edgar Berlanga on Twitter about him making weight. So the fact that he's even acknowledging him is letting us know that Caleb Plant is aware of a potential fight with Berlanga.
Well,
that made sense because he fought McCombie. Caleb Plant fought McCombie last. That was a non-title fight. His next fight doesn't seem to be another title fight coming up. Berlanga gets you keep those guys down where you keep setting yourself up to set up another potential title match at 168. That's why it makes sense for Caleb Plant.
So Caleb Plant is slated for Diego Pacheco on the undercard of Canelo versus Skull.
He's the number 2 ranked. So
to give you more background on why this is a thing, I guess because Caleb Plant is a common opponent in leading up to the Canelo versus Berlanga fight, Plant was questioned about dude, and then Berlanga being a New York guy, he was on the Breakfast Club, and so they brought up the comments that Plant made, and Berlanga took him how he took him, and so that's why this is a back and forth thing now. So
it's a real beef type of thing.
Yeah, I know they don't like
it. It always sells.
Yeah, it does. For me, I feel like Berlanga really jumped on the cash train with Canelo very early, which was good for him and his family. But what's the chess move after that? Because Caleb Plant is a name, but Caleb Plant at best is going to be a co-headliner and Caleb Plant needs another vessel, or he needs another star to make this fight. You know what I mean? I'm just talking about not the boxing and the beef they have, right? But money wise, I look at Caleb Plant. He's older. He's getting to that age where you got to get the bag. I want to see Caleb Plant fight Canelo again. I want to see Caleb Plant fight, more marketable people. And I'm not saying Berlanga is not marketable. He is. He knows how to stir the waters and make everything muddy. He knows how to do that. He's like Rolly Romero. You could just not avoid a Berlanga because he knows how to get people talking. But if you're Plant, you take that fight? When you have very few fights, how old is Plant? 34, 33?
You take the fight. You take the fights that make sense.
Okay.
Yep.
So they're building the drama for it. So it's like, it's you got to be reasonable. Like Plant's on that undercard. He's number 2. Okay, so what? You fight Pacheco.
He's 32.
But you're realistically, you're not going to sniff Canelo within these next 4 fights.
So if I'm realistically, if I'm Plant, I'm going for Jamal Charlo. I'm going for Munguia. I'm going for William Skull. I'm going for if Triple G could get out of if he could get out of retirement, I'm going for who else am I going for? I'm just looking for. I'm fishing right now. Forgive me if I'm just pulling names out of nowhere. I know Triple G is not there, but I'm going for Pacheco. I'm going for Mbili, the Congolese French guy. I'm going for those names because I think I've passed the Balenga. Am I wrong for thinking like that of Plank at this moment in his career?
I mean, yeah. I mean, no. What you're saying is true, but like for whatever reason, Canelo fought Berlanga. So
I think they're low key buddies. I don't know. I didn't get that. I did not understand that one. I think they're low key buddies. Or maybe I don't know how Canelo chose. Everybody could have fought where they chose Berlanga, who was very novice. I think he's a good fighter. Berlanga is a knockout artist. We know, but
so what this sets up to is that a potential matchup in the Barclays. All right, Berlanga don't want to go back with Matchroom. Okay, maybe PBC. I don't know what they got going on, but he comes over there and they do it at the Barclays, right there in New York City. Caleb Plant's from like Tennessee or something like that, something like that. So it's kind of East Coast.
Something to be looking at. Last opponents were Caleb Plant were Makumbi, Benavidez, Darrell, Canelo, and Caleb Truax.
Yeah,
that's our opponents. So.
He don't dodge no smoke. Those are names.
No, he don't dodge. He doesn't dodge any
yeah,
smoke.
those are
names.
He's
man.
not.
He don't.
It's like
he's not afraid. There's nobody he's gonna be afraid to fight, and people should be looking for Caleb Plant as that stepping stone.
Yeah, because it's not gonna
But
be
anyways, welcome back, Edgar Berlanga. That was a beautiful left sneaky hook. I had to play that over and over. He hit him. He caught him good with the left.
We did have a question on the previous previous topic. Well, it was a side topic.
Yeah, I need a further explanation if we still on. I always feel like good boxing is good boxing. You know when you see it. But I think that's what we're saying, what we're asking here. Appreciate the comment, Kenny Mills TV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good boxing is good boxing. But Kenny, you also have to accept the idea of, or I'm not saying you, Kenny, in particular, but all of us, that they're casuals that just look at marquee or name fighters, and that's their thing. They're not gonna sit down and watch undercards. I mean, I like to do that because I want to be one of those friends that be like, I told you, remember when I told you about this fighter? Remember when I told you about that fighter? But not everyone. Everybody's going to watch a boxing fight, a match at around, depending on your time zone. If you're in the Midwest, they turning on their TVs at 9 p.m. They're not gonna turn on their TVs like 8 to watch, the free. Actually, a lot of them are free. The free bouts.
Yeah,
they're not watching that. So it depends on what you're looking for and what you like. If you like the sweet science, you're gonna watch Golden Gloves. If you
let's point out something though. Like, wasn't Cool Boy Steph on a free fight just before regaining his championship?
I believe so. Yeah.
So you never know what you're gonna see on those. Like, that's just
yeah.
Keep it pushing.
Oh, another title one. This one was for like the British and Commonwealth title, and you know what that means. I don't know which. Does that catapult your ranking in IBF or WBC? I can't remember for the Commonwealth and British Championship. But anyway, this was for the bantamweight titles. This was on Queensberry. That's Frank Warren and that team, and the TNT. If you're watching it over there in the UK, we had Andrew Kane versus Charlie Edwards. I watched this fight. I actually was thoroughly entertained by this fight because it was a fight of two tales. Beginning of the fight, Andrew Kane, kind of like I thought I was going to win this easy because he's known. You could look at his record right there. He knocks out people. 14, 1 loss, 12 knockouts. In this particular situation, he fought a Charlie Edwards that had a plan to box him and get on the bike and move and get away from situations to put him in an angle where he's going to get knocked out. the boxing commentators were not liking this fight because they said Charlie was cowardly. But
they got booze in
still-
this fight, right?
still lost.
There was booze going through this.
They were booing the fight. They were not happy. Fans, the audience, but all in all, he still lost the fight. But he did win rounds boxing, hitting and running, and it was one of those. But it was full belts, so salute to Kane for retaining his belts, and that was all she wrote from my end. Unless you guys want to add some more commentary to what you saw.
No. Downhill sledding.
Right.
So we talk about matchroom here. Talk about Jermaine Ortiz versus Yomar Alamo. I'm saying that right. This is for the lightweight bout. This is for the lightweight division. No titles involved in this one. Ortiz won this by unanimous decision. Scores went 99-91, 99-91, 98-92 in favor for Ortiz. I didn't get to watch this one, but I did see some recaps. These are like early fights of that Balenga thing, and it was super. I didn't catch that one because I was doing some family activities. You catch any of Jermaine Ortiz versus Alamo?
I'm gonna just give y'all some background right here. Though.
Pretty early. Go ahead there.
Yeah, he's fought Liam Paro, Richardson Hitchens, both of whom he lost to. And then he came back 1-2. He came back 1-2 fights, and then he lost his last two, Delonte Johnson and Jermaine Ortiz. So that's a little bit about Alamo. He's shaping up to be one of those opponents.
I think if there was a way
on the fast route to journeyman / slash gatekeeper. Now, Jermaine Ortiz, on the other hand, he's been in there with some people. We got Jamel Herring. That's who Shakur Stevens got his first strap against. Jamel Herring. He's been in there against Lomachenko. He's been in there against Teofimo. So Jermaine Ortiz is not a slouch by any means.
Yeah, if you want to get entertained, go watch their face off, and it got a little chippy, so to say the least. But hey, I'll watch their face off, and it had me kind of excited to see the fight. But it is what it is. I didn't catch the fight live, but I did catch the results. Moving on to.
Now, I was just gonna say real quick, this is somebody that we could see he's one of those 135 contenders. You have your 4 or 5 that you have, but if they're not all fighting each other, he's an opponent. So, quality opponent.
Moving on to first time pro on his pro debut, and this is something that I think we need to highlight more.
Mm-hmm.
First timers, right? And the good brother Omar Johns, an impressive knockout against I would say Italian Alcesio Master Nuzerio. I can't say that name. Alcio. Help me out, guys here who are cultured here. You speak Italiano?
Looks like Alessio. You're not doing this.
Alessio.
You gotta do this. It's gonna help you out.
Not Alcio. Alessio Mastro Zero. Alessio Mastro Nu Zero. Both of them look like their records look very novice. One has been into 9 fights, the other had been into just that was their first pro, and it was impressive. I watched that replay, and I was supporting the good brother, man. Seeing young fighters coming into the sports, into the sport. I mean, not coming. You probably had an illustrious amateur, but coming into the pros.
Pause.
Sorry. Fast.
No,
Pull it back. Fast forward to the pause. Let's move. A young fighter stepping into the welterweight division and then knocking out in that type of fashion is very good, especially on that stage, all set by Eddie Hearns and his team of Matchroom.
right.
Got my attention. So, did you guys
Now
watch
let
it?
me tell you. Let me tell you. Okay, so you're right. He did have an illustrious amateur career. He is an Olympic bronze medalist from Orlando, Florida, and hence this is entirely the reason why this bout is taking place here. I'm going to jump into the mind of Eddie Hearn, rewind to an event where I actually walked past Eddie Hearn and didn't even recognize who I was looking at. He looked at me like, dang, this guy's dressed nice. I looked at him like, dang, this guy is tall. We did the head nod. I kept it pushing with my popcorn. But anywho, this is a similar situation to when he brings the Zone pay-per-view to Wichita, Kansas, and Nico Hernandez is on the card. Right? And so this is how Eddie Hearn thinks. He's like, okay, I tried this once. Let's try it in a bigger city. Immediately after this fight. Well, do you want to talk about the fight? I'll let y'all talk about the fight first.
I said,
Now go ahead.
knockout.
All right, so
Go ahead.
that's about it. Immediately after the fight, he announces that he will be on the card. I believe it's Boots versus Stan Jonas. So I think, so that lets you know they're trying to put him on the fast track. They're trying to put him in front of the eyeballs, and they're invested in this kid. So
yeah, it's very hard to say anything or break down his fight because he only fought like a full round, and then 20 seconds of the next round he knocked out the guy. So like it's very hard to make a breakdown or seeing what type of fighter he is. And I didn't watch him in the amateurs, but you just said that he has Olympic pedigree.
Olympic bronze medalist.
Oh, he's gonna be a problem. So hey, welcome to the pros, man. And then you showed up on the big stage and took advantage of that big stage. So salute to you, Omar Jones.
The banger.
A banger. Can't wait to watch more of you and talk more of you. Man, we have a good list of young fighters. We have Mason, Abdullah Mason. We have Omar Jones. We have Itamu, if I'm saying his name right, the heavyweight.
Moses.
Yeah. We have my man. Can we still put Schofield in that young category, or has he kind of like moved over? We have S3.
Yeah.
We have S3.
Got S3.
Got S3. We have what's his name? Moulton. Kamel Moulton. And there's some good fighters out there, and I like to see the coverage on them because very soon the baton is going to be passed, or the torch is going to be passed on to these guys, and they'll be the faces, or can't I say the faces of the box, but there'll be the people that we will be kind of like eating off, when we as quote unquote media, like just to get stories or talk about their fights and stuff like that. So it's good that we are getting introduced to them at this type of stage, and salute to Omar Jones again. Just for the sake of time, fellas, what is your endurance like? Do you want to do the UFC, or just because we wanted to dedicate this episode to my guy S3? Should we lock it in and then maybe cover UFC another time? It was not a major UFC event, by the way, but it was UFC fight. Oh, should we just run through?
Give your sprint down. Sprint it down, Strap. Sprint it down.
Sprint down. No. Okay. All right, let's do it. It's only right. Oh, you already pulled it up. Cool. Fight night. This was the Vegas Apex. We had Vittori versus Dolenze. I'll be honest, I didn't watch none of these fights. But anyways, Vittori, this is the second time he's fought this person. Marvin Vittori, if you know him, infamous or famous for the great fights that he had with Israel Adesanya. And they went to war a couple of times. Even sometimes Marvin Vittori, he's from Italy, thought he defeated Israel Adesanya. At one time they had a decision split between them. But anyways, moving to this fight, I said I'll sprint through them, but yeah, Vittori lost. On to the next. This name right here, I'm gonna have to wrestle with both names. We have Shidi Njakuni
Close
versus
enough.
Eluzu Zaleski de Santos. That is weird. I've never seen a Eastern European like Russian name with a Brazilian Dos Santos. But anyway, that's cool. Being put together in the same formatting. But anyways, we had a TKO by Shitty. Shitty won by TKO, and this was in the second round at 2 minutes 19 seconds. Moving on to the next, we have Alexander Hernandez versus Kurt Olibur, and this was for the lightweight division. No belts are involved, by the way. For most of these fight nights, they usually keep it for the marquee UFC fights that have the letters. And of course, as you have seen, this is not. It's not a spoiler. Alexander won the fight by unanimous decision, and we're moving on to the next one. So we have Demond Blackshear versus Cody Gibson for nothing, but it's in the bantamweight division. Demond won by submission, applying a Kimura to Cody in the second round at minute 4:09 seconds. Moving on to the next.
Not for nothing for bragging rights.
Not for nothing. Okay, we have this one. I'm gonna flex with these names right here. I'm gonna have to fight with these names. We have Demir Nugozervi versus Branson Ribeiro. That was easy. Branson Ribeiro for the catch. This was a catchweight bout. I don't know what weight they were catching, but anyways, Branson won by submission with a Kimura in the second round at minute 1:28 seconds. And finally, we have Su Wong Chu versus Kevin Vallejos, and this was featherweight bout. It was a featherweight bout, and Kevin Vallejos achieved a technical knockout victory over Sung Wong Chu in the first round at minute 3:09 seconds, and that was the Express UFC Fight Night presented by. We need a sponsor for this.
Good job.
Anyways.
No tongue twisters.
Bro, hey, I've learned to accept that. Hey, I'm gonna butcher these names until they get famous. We get famous enough where people are gonna like, yo, Strap. This is my name.
This is a good one to end it on. I think this one comes up. I think on the heels of our Doheny little mini Doheny debate.
Okay.
So, what separates a great fighter from a legend? Is it titles and records, impact and longevity? Who do you see as a legend in the making? Who do you see as a legend in the making right now? This is loaded. So let's start with what separates a great fighter from a legend. In the moment right now, I think Caleb Plant, great fighter. Not necessarily a legend. Great fighter, belt holder. Canelo Alvarez, legend. Impact, and it's all those things for Canelo, the impact on the sport. Undisputed champion. And if Caleb Plant beats Canelo Alvarez, Caleb Plant is a legend.
Yeah.
At this point, I think Dimitri Bivol ascended to legendary status.
You beat it. You beat Canelo Alvarez and Artur Beterbiev. So yeah, I would agree there. He's one of our newer legends.
You see what I'm saying? He has
creeping into that realm of fighters. But so you're saying it's not just titles. It's the question is talks about the impact and the longevity. I think Canelo has that as well.
Canelo checks all the boxes.
Yeah, going pro at such a young age. Pay-per-view numbers are out the question. Pay-per-view numbers are, box office records continuously. He's a staple in the sport. And I would say legends also make it the impact outside of the ring as well. I think Tyson talked about how Floyd, he can't walk around amongst the people. I think that legendary status, you have to also be a people champion as well, because boxing fans will endure you forever. If you see how many Hitman Hearns walk around, he might give you a fist in a picture, and he's a champion and a people's champion as well.
Man,
yeah.
let's even use Strap's guy, since he just loves to bring him up. I'll bring him up for the second week in a row. AB had a great career, was a great fighter. He was knocking on the door of legendary. Now, I mean, when we look back, he has a Hall of Fame career, but it's borderline legendary. I think the antics are going to be memorable.
Yeah,
but does it overshadow what you actually achieved?
I have a different approach to that too, because you absolutely right. It's not the titles, and maybe sometimes it's not even the longevity, but it's how some fighters, what they generated and how they made people feel. Right. Point in case, we talk about Prince Nassim, right? He never fought. I don't think he ever fought in the States, but that's an absolute legend overseas. Like if you go to the UK, Prince Nassim is probably even bigger than Floyd Mayweather over there. To what he represented. Ali, of course, is an icon. That's way past legend, right? Tyson is an icon. That's way past legend. Legend could be how you just made people feel. Like, I'll move away from boxing. Let's say Jamal Crawford is a legend to some people. He may never have been an all-star. He may never have won a championship, but we know what Jamal Crossover did in the NBA and what he represented to Seattle. And also it's also regional. Sometimes it's regional. Like some people may be legends just in their region. Like let's say in the UK, we talk about fighters like Frank Bruno. People in the States don't know who that is, but that dude will always have a job in the UK. We talk about people like Eubank, Chris Eubank. You don't know who that is, but Eubank, I mean, you know his son, but you don't know the father. The father was a legend. Like probably one of the greatest fighters of all times. If you ask a UK person, we talk about Corner Ben, the senior legend. So like it's very objective,
right?
Again,
very subjective
at the same time.
But I think we talk boxing though. You have to narrow your qualifying factors for legend to global. Aspect. It's a global game, a global sport, and yes, Eubank, Conor Ben. Yes, I don't think most boxing fans would consider them global legends. And then to go to now just to cross over to the women's side, I would see someone like Amanda Serrano and Clarissa Shields being legends.
I think they're iconic.
Kind of making right now, they
I think
iconic fighters.
I think Carissa is past legend. She's an icon. She's an Olympic champion. Like she's, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm putting at a higher pedestal,
I wouldn't. I think as we know that she likes to pump herself up. She would like to be an icon. I would consider her a legend, but now we're talking semantics here. But I think the icon status when you transcend a lot of different realms and you're bringing in people that aren't even familiar with your craft. They just know the name.
I'm gonna amend. I want to amend my original statement too on Caleb Plant, because Sean Porter, I believe, is a legend because he dodged no smoke, and I think longevity will play a part in Caleb Plant's legendary status. Is if he continues to fight these young guys that are knocking on the door.
Okay, how did Sean Porter make you feel when he was fighting?
Excitement. You knew there was excitement every time. You knew that he had a chance every time, whether he was the favorite or not. You knew what he was going to bring to the table. And I view Caleb Plant different style, but that same mindset and an approach mentality.
Right.
to his career.
So there's a respect factor that goes into it. Like I respect the way you go about your business, the way you fight, how you communicate your messages with the fans. Like that all comes into play.
Let's answer her last question. Who do you see as a legend in the making right now? Me personally, David Benavidez. I mean, I guess I'm saying it too. Like I'm saying, the Caleb Plant is a legend in the making.
Yeah. If he can get some more of those big fights, yes, for sure. It's what you said, Benavidez. Who else you got?
Man, but off top, it's difficult as matchmaking comes. We look at somebody in the heavyweight division. Like we look at. Okay, in the making, in the making. But let's look at the heavyweight division because
Usyk,
legend.
He did
Olympic two-weight divisions. Beat Tyson Fury twice.
That's and I think that's the easy answer. I said that's the easy answer. But when we start looking at
Fury, Tyson Fury's a legend. Or not.
So he's legendary. And so this is where it gets tricky because I think he dominated his era. And so, for that fact, he probably is legendary status. And that's a whole, we did this when we were looking at his career. Like when he announced his retirement.
He fought bombs.
The three, Deontay Wilder, winning against a Klitschko, 2 losses to a Usyk.
So great. All right. We're going to say great because he dominated his era. Great fighter, great career. We were debating whether or not he was a Hall of Famer.
This person, I would put my right finger to be cut off and I'll have him as a legend is Andre Ward. To me, that was my favorite fighter at one time. And I think he's a legend. I know people will say he's not as active as other fighters. He had to battle through disease. So many things that kind of steered his career. And the numbers don't make sense, but the guy fought people. And some people won't put him in the legendary status, but I'll put him as a legend.
He was putting on clinics. When I'm working with fighters, I always say, hey, check out some Andre Ward fights. He just does everything perfect. And it doesn't require a ton of athleticism, quickness, foot speed. He just was a tactician. So, yeah. I'm surprised I forgot about Andre Ward. But
I'm lying. I would not cut off my finger for anybody. I'll just.
I'm borderline. I was a Ward fan, but I'm borderline. Like,
I know people like ring activity is a big thing, but
I think the longevity. So that to the question, the longevity does play a role.
Yeah,
the longevity does play a role. And I think 26 wins, no losses, and Olympic appearance. It just
But he gave us quality over quantity, though. He gave us, I know Tank has 30 odd victories. Would Tank has more victories than Andre Ward? Would you put Tank over Ward in legendary?
Not legend yet. Nah. He's a great fighter.
Andre Ward, I think you don't get the Jordan brand without touching that legendary type status. Because if you're not just getting with Jordan brand, it just doesn't happen.
How about
Earl Spence? Handpicked by so
Earl Spence. Is Earl Spence?
So Earl Spence, and I was just looking at the names on the list. We can't be prisoners of the moment. Earl Spence is great, unquestionably great. He's on the cusp of legendary. I think it's gonna take him coming back and having a redemptive end to his career, but
you need three fights minimum and good performances.
When you go down the names on his resume, I'm glad you asked.
Amazing. You guys have high standards. I won't lie to you.
Well, because you can't. It's like the NBA. You can't put everybody in the Hall of Fame, bro. Like you just have to have. There has to be some type of exclusivity to that. Like
I'm looking at his tenure as a champ. This dude was a champ from like, well, the 2017, 2016 to like, you know, to wherever. Like, come on, man. He's a not icon, but he's a legend.
Cause listen, that's my guy. Let's name off the resume. He's got Chris Algieri, Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson, Carlos Ocampo, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, your Dennis Ugas, all in order until he loses to Terrence Crawford. So I mean, that is a run. He
had a run,
undeniable greatness.
And he defeated death
in the midst of having
from a car. Like that boy that's a bad man. It's unfortunate that, you know, but I don't know. I think he's to me, he's a legend, but I know you guys like the standards are kind of high right now. Like it's hard to be a legend. Like, but I understand.
It is. It should be hard. Like we shouldn't just give out the term legends and
But we were doing that,
like that just willy nilly. Like
we were doing that. If you remember in the 90s, we were doing that for what's his name, Ruddick Bull. We were doing that for Ronnie Mercer. We were doing that for we call him heavyweight legends, and you know, and that's a different era which I didn't understand. I was a kid, but we call those legends, you know.
But also it's a difference between promoting,
held the belt
being a promoter
until somebody like Tyson knocked them out.
It's a difference between being a promoter and being a fan, and being able to criticize objectively.
Yeah, we maybe this is a whole podcast episode where we have to break down criteria, how many times you defend your title. We have to break it down and look at and maybe we know what we may break the internet. We may break the internet by just exposing how so many heavyweights or like the Roberto Durans that didn't defend their belt enough, and they were great fighters, but how many times did they defend their belt? Or there so many good fighters that it was so hard to keep that belt because you had Hearns, you had Hagler, you had Sugar Ray, you had all these people, you had Mugabe. Like these guys, that belt was moving around. Like defending it was so hard. I understand great fighters in that era, but bro, this is an episode. This is a whole episode that we could break down after some research. And you look at some people like Fury, like, whoa, he may be one of the greatest. Like
it's a little tougher in the 4-belt era too. It's like if y'all are holding belts, you know, simultaneously, and you never make this collision course, or it's you know, there's that. So
we say we got to see the fight. That's what I said. We got to see the fight.
We
got to see him.
Troy's in the chat.
Yeah, man. This was
director. We got a legend in the comments.
We got Troy in the chat. Salute, Troy.
So, this was obviously a question that was for S3.
Yeah.
What's the hardest thing to give up during training? So
your life.
Hey, you know, some people.
MG's question.
Some people are abstinent. They practice abstinence.
Is that a real thing though?
Clarissa is on record.
Wait, what is on record saying? What?
She goes abstinent during camp.
I know Tyson never used to do that. Tyson said it was a lie.
Oh yeah, no, he said he'll get it done.
Yeah, that dude.
You gotta go what works for you.
Yeah.
Find out.
So like
early on in your career, what works for you.
Is it about the legs and everything? Like, you know, like you don't want to lose your legs before a fight.
Takes a lot out of you.
Just being a mean.
I was like, man, it don't work out. I mean,
yeah. I really never understood it, but hey, I'm not a boxer. But if it works, if it's been making like, don't stop the tradition.
Testosterone.
Some guys, it's just the bottle. I mean, I don't want to call out any guys, but I know some fighters.
So retired. I'll expand on that. Retired. Shout out David Rickles. Like, we would see him out and be like, "Hey man, when's your next fight?" And he'd be like, "I don't know. They need to tell me so I can know when to stop drinking." Shout out to the caveman.
City legend, man. Wichita legend. But yeah, man, that's a great. I wish fighters would. Sometimes it's good to ask questions as a fighter, like these traditions that happen when you hear fighters talking about tapering off sparring. Like they don't spar, saying weeks before fights. They don't do running before, like they have a whole schedule. Like I want them to like break, because most casuals don't know what camp consists of. Another casual like me, without speaking to a fighter, I'm thinking of the old PBC or old HBO things I used to watch on YouTube of Marvin Hagler getting ready, running on the mountain, screaming "war" with that little red hat. Remember that red hat with the glasses? War. Like just starving himself from being around his family and saying, "Man, I can't be a champion with what do you say, silk sheets." Like that's what I think of it. But when you talk to a fighter, it's like, no, it's not like that. It's a science, bro. We know when to taper off on sparring. We know when to do cardio. When your body's in the red, you can't work out because you're gonna injure yourself. When I'm like, oh, it's like that. But most people don't even know that. They don't know what camp consists of a high level fighters. So that's a good conversation. It's good that Troy brought it up, but it's a good conversation to bring a fighter to say, hey, what's day one to day of weigh-in for you as a fighter, and what's the science behind it?
That's one of those questions we can keep for future guests, as far as guys that are going into camp. So, or that are
that's a good question. Thank you, Troy.
Yeah, shout out to all of our viewers. Like, comment, subscribe, engage with us. We engage back.
Please do. Please do.
Yeah, hit that subscribe so you can be with us every time we go live. Get that notification. Keep the notifications on, because we try to do it every Sunday. Sometimes it's midweek. This was midweek, so this was kind of a quick turnaround for us.
Yeah.
Oh, we did a midweek show and a Sunday show.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So as you guys may know, like the marquee person for this show was S3. We'll try to bring him back in. Hopefully, if he's available and we're available before his fight. He fights April 12th. He's fighting in Dallas. Please, I'll run the banner. I think somebody had his social media. Please go follow him, support him. I promise you, he's up and coming. He's going to be one of those people that you'll see in the sport, and he'll be talked about in this sport. So get on the train early, and know what's happening in the sport. But fellas, do you have anything in closing before we shut the show down?
Oh yeah. Well, RIP to the official music portion of South by Southwest. I'm glad I got to be at the last one. Shout out to the IMG All-Stars. Shout out to Oya Baby. Too many people to name. I got to meet Michael Watts. Stood next to Slim Thug for a long time. Seen Zero perform for the first time. So this was seen a lot of people. Seen Big X the Plug perform. Yeah, man. Hey,
did Zero perform Hit Him with the Mew? That was one of my classics.
I hit him with the mule.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, I got to experience that. Experience the last and final spring game for Texas football, because they're not doing that no more, because they don't want the athletes poached. So a lot of things we've seen the end of the era for a lot of things. But yeah.
Wow. It was an era, man. South by Southwest. As a former musician, that was like the holy grail of go out there and network. Network was everything as an artist. Get connections. You had to build a Rolodex, so we could go back into that Rolodex of contacts to build, because that's all you have as an artist is other artists, and they share information, share contacts, and really like that cliche quote, your network is your net worth, was all based on events like South by Southwest. And I hope there's something similar to that is there for the future, for the future artists. So, but
And I think it is. I think it'll just go back to the underground, and I think that's really where it really belongs, the artistry, and I think it'll get back to the essence. Also met Herb the Phenom. Shout out Herb the Phenom.
Kansas City, salute.
Yeah. Too many people to name.
Salute. Well, there you have it. Episode 48 of Who's Fighting. Fellas, we are about to touch a 50 ball, man. A 50 ball after reviving back the show from 19 episodes to now almost touching a 50 ball. We've had fighters coming and going, and you know, we'll bring more guest fighters into this section that we do, like today, Fighter Spotlight. But thank you for those who watch the show live. Thank you for tuning in. For those who are going to watch it on playback, hey, enjoy the show. Kind of pretend that you're interacting with us. You could leave a comment still. We could come back and retroactively kind of engage with you with our next show and kind of answer your questions, but leave something so we could have some form of engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been another great episode of Who's Fighting. LT, Kam Gee, you know the slogan. Who is fighting?